Americans Missing Nuke. So we're going to be watching this one. It's by LazerPig. All right, let's get into it.
The United States.
There we go.
Everyone loves America. I mean, can you just imagine if Germany won the war?
Germany, I'm just going to say it. Germany could never win the war. Germany had no chance of ever taking over the United States of America. Okay? I'm just going to say it. Okay? Everyone likes to have those alternate history videos of like, how Germany could have won World War II and taken over the United States or split the US in half with Japan and stuff. That was never going to happen. I don't think the funny mustache man ever had plans to invade the US, if I'm not mistaken. So, at least after the war, during that war, in the immediate time, that was not going to happen. The US is just its own little fortress. The continental United States, big fortress.
Ugh. Now, there are lots of things that when you look at it really highlight the true spirit of America. Like apple pie, freshly baked by your grandmother. A horse running across an open field. Gay cowboy sex. Political leaders that cannot form coherent sentences.
Billions of gallons of gasoline. I mean, billions of I think it's 2.3 billion.
You know, so. No.
Tell people why I say that. I mean, is it? I bing 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 bong bong bing 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 bong.
White people, and of course, nuclear firearms. It doesn't matter what age you are, everybody loves nukes. Everybody loves nukes.
Love them, totally.
That raw, sheer explosion of
I like nuclear power.
Destruction, which has threatened to end all life on the planet multiple times, and may well do just that. America has over 30,000 nuclear warheads it will publicly admit to having, and their existence helps us each and every day in securing our future and the guarantee that they will never be a World War IV. But can you imagine if some random...
I really like that little detail. I'm sure there have been a lot of people who have watched this video who are just like, did he mean World War III? No, because what he means is, if we have a World War III, we're going to use the nukes most likely, or, you know, that's what people we theorize that'll probably be that we will use nukes. So World War III will end, and we will never have a World War IV because it won't be possible. We will have nuked ourselves either into extinction or back to the Stone Age. So yeah. Yeah. So I like nuclear power, and I don't think we're ever going to get rid of all of our nukes. But I don't think we need as many as we have, but I'm interested to see what Hatsune LazerPig has to say about this.
Random got their hands on a nuke. Someone like North Korea, a terrorist, an angry Karen, or one of those liberals I keep hearing about. The devastation even just one of these things could wipe out an entire city, even a small country, and the resulting fallout could lead to mass evacuations, panic, starvation, looting, Fallout roleplayers hiding out at abandoned Walmarts. So we're all very thankful that nukes are hard to make, difficult to manufacture, almost impossible to hide, and all the best ones are very tightly secured in underground facilities in the America. I mean, it's not like they've ever, you know, lost one.
Nope.
But,
also, they aren't as tightly secured as we would like to say. The U.S. does not have the best track records for the people who are defending them. Also, the tech is outdated in a lot of places. The last time I heard, unless they've updated it, but aren't a lot of the nukes using like floppy disks still? Like it's out. Like the tech is outdated that they use to control them. And I heard one time that a pizza man got inside of a nuclear facility that had nuclear armaments because they left the door open and someone ordered pizza. And just a pizza guy just walked in. Right? So, yeah, we could definitely secure them better.
no one's ever found, right?
Can't hack a floppy disk?
Yeah,
is that the real reason?
That wasn't a joke.
Oh, wow.
The Broken Arrow incident refers to the accidental loss of a nuclear firearm, including, and I'm not making this up, accidental detonation on friendly soil. And you may be wondering, shut the fuck up, LazerPig. There hasn't been a nuke that's accidentally gone off on US soil, right? Oh, honey. So you know the Colorado River, right? Nah, I'm just fucking with you. But in all seriousness, to this date, there has been 32 broken arrow incidents. Several resulting in explosions, but none, thankfully, resulting in nuclear detonation. But out of those 32, there are 9 incidents where a nuke has just vanished, and no one's been able to find it. Does someone else have it? Maybe some shadowy Bond villain character? Or is it still just out there, just waiting to be found? I'm just fucking with you. It's a lot more than 9. Public records only go up to 1970. The rest are very much still classified. So what happened after 1970? How many more nukes are missing? You think I know? You think I know top secret government information? Because I do. And it's your mum's a hoe. Anyway, on with the list.
How'd he know?
In 1950, a B-36 suffers an engine failure. In order to maintain altitude and give time for the crew to bail out, the bomber's payload, a 1 Mark IV nuclear bomb, which was being carried as part of a simulated nuclear attack, is dropped. The bomb landed in the Pacific, and though it was not holding its nuclear core, which is required for detonation, it was carrying all the uranium it needed. The crew believed the bomb had detonated its regular high-impact explosive on contact, which should have destroyed the bomb. However, this was never actually confirmed. The wreckage of the plane was only discovered 4 years later.
Oh, wow.
The bomb, or any residual trace of all the uranium it should have been scattered over a wide area, has never been found.
Wouldn't the I don't know a lot about radiation, obviously, but wouldn't the fact that wouldn't it be hard to miss the fact that it detonated? Because isn't uranium radioactive, obviously? So if there's no radiation, wouldn't that imply that it didn't? I don't know. Obviously it didn't detonate like they said, but wouldn't, if it was scattered or the payload was, detonated like they say, wouldn't you, be able to be like, I got the Geiger counter, it goes something like that?
In 1956, a B-47, one of the most beautiful planes that has ever been made, fight me, leaves Florida transporting 2 nuclear cores. It fails to make contact with the refueling tanker and is never seen again. An extensive search throws up absolutely nothing. It just vanishes.
Water shield radiation shields radiation excellently? Oh.
In 1957, a C-124 transporting 3 nukes with a single uninstalled core loses 2 engines. To maintain flight, 2 of the nukes were dropped. There was no detonation, and the conventional explosives inside did not detonate. The plane landed safely, but the 2 nukes it dropped were never found, and for security reasons, it was never declassified where the plane dropped them. In 1958, an F-86 Sabre and a B-47 carrying a nuke collide in midair. The pilot of the Sabre ejects, and the B-47 attempts to land, but cannot slow down due to the damage. The pilot makes the decision to eject, but before he can do that, he needs to dump his bomb, which he does, several miles from the mouth of the Savannah River between South Carolina and Georgia. The bomb's onboard explosives failed to detonate. The plane landed safely shortly after, but the bomb was never found.
All right, I know what I'm doing this weekend. Chat, I know what I'm doing this weekend. Going to the Savannah River. I can go there. That's not far from where I am. All right, I'm gonna go nuke hunting. If I found the nuke, could I sell it back to the U.S.? If I found a nuke, what could I do with it? That's what. Can you? Okay, I'm sorry, but can you imagine like a YouTuber finding a nuke and being like, "I found a nuke. What happens next will surprise you." Oh, I held the United States hostage with a nuke. Not clickbait gone sexual. Oh.
9, a P-5M
Mr.
Marlin
Beast has
crashes
a
into
nuke.
the Pacific Ocean. It carries with it a singular nuclear depth charge. The wreckage was never found, and the charge never recovered. In 1961, an early B-52 catches fire and explodes over North Carolina. On board are 2 nukes, which, due to the damage, activate. The now 2 active nuclear bombs hurtle towards the ground, however the parachute on one deploys, preventing detonation. However, the chute on the second bomb does not deploy. But by a sheer miracle, the final arming pin on the second nuke fails, and the bomb plunges into a muddy field and partially disintegrates, failing to detonate. Most of the bomb is later recovered, however the actual live warhead was not, and is still down there. The Air Force purchased the land, and it's now sealed off behind this very highly secure wire fence.
Why don't you secure it? What do you mean? Why? Wait, so they know it. How do you recover the rest of the bomb and not? Can they get to it, but they can't safely take it out? What? There's a lot. I want a lot more context on that. Why do you not take it out? Okay, that terrifies me. Why don't you just take out the warhead? What is the reasoning for leaving it down there? Could they not find it? Can they not safely remove it? Are they lazy? I hope it's not the last one. I doubt it's the last one, but why?
In 1965, an A4 Phantom carrying a B-43 nuclear bomb suffers a brake failure and rolls off the elevator of the aircraft carrier it was on board, plunging into the Pacific. The aircraft, the pilot, and the bomb were never found. In 1968, while undergoing sea trials, the American submarine USS Scorpion suffers an electrical failure which causes the submarine to dive below its crash depth. The submarine implodes, killing most of the skeleton crew on board. The wreckage was found sometime later, and the largely intact torpedo room was simply sealed off, with all the nukes still inside.
Wow.
There were around 5 to 8 nuclear warheads on board the Scorpion, and they are still down there. So for those of you playing along at home, that is around 14 nuclear warheads just out there, somewhere, that no one's been able to find yet.
The nuclear material is very dense. It probably went further down than the rest of the bomb, but they know it's down there. Shouldn't they? Like, I guess it's mud, so I guess it's not going to be like, oh, just follow the hole in the earth. So it probably got clogged up with mud, but like, you know it's down there, right? Nox, yeah, we'll team up and we'll find that nuke in the Savannah River. We'll do it. Let's do it. Yeah, let's do it. We got this. Oh.
14, at least, that America will admit to losing, and 14, at least, stamped with the American flag. I mean, no one else has lost one, right?
You know what, say what you will about the Soviet Union, their fucking national anthem is a banger.
In 1989, the Soviet Navy's submarine Cosmolautilus, that word, anyway, operating with an inexperienced skeleton crew, catches fire. The crew, unable to deal with the issue, blew the submarine's ballast tanks and quickly surfaced from the submarine's crash depth. The resulting pressure difference blew the top hatches off the sub, water poured into the vessel, and it sank almost immediately. The Soviets conducted a search for the vessel, which sank somewhere off the coast of Norway, and after a lot of pressure from the Norwegian government, were able to clean up the nuclear reactor. However, the sub's onboard nuclear missiles could not be moved without the risk of detonation, so they were just sealed in the wreckage, and, well, they're still down there.
My God.
In the chaos and turmoil
well, this seems like fun.
The traditionally bureaucratic
what? You don't find learning that there are nukes just in the world that are just, you know, there? You don't find that entertaining and comforting? I find it. I could think I can sleep very well at night knowing that there are just nukes in places just out there. The location is known, some locations unknown. So there could be at some point in the future just a random group or random people get one of the nukes or find the nukes, and then they go off on their supervillain origin story right there. It can happen. It could happen. There's also sunken ships from World War II full of explosives. There are still demoing some of them close to the shore. Aren't there still landmines in Hawaii? Isn't that a thing? I think it's Hawaii. That there are, or it's somewhere, there's probably multiple places, where on the beaches, there are still landmines that sometimes either wash up on shore or are just found randomly because, you know, they were just there. Landmines are terrifying. Landmines are absolutely terrifying. Landmines in Hawaii? I'm pretty sure. Hang on. Landmines in Hawaii. Despite decades-long cleanup, threats of unexploded landmines. Yeah, there you go. See? Told you. When did we have ground assaults there? I think it's from military practices. It's not from a ground assault. It's from the military being pretty bad with ordinances. But you know, don't quote me on that. But I think it's just from military exercises. So yeah, you could be in Hawaii having a nice little vacation, and then you're like, I'm gonna dig a hole, dig, boom, and you're dead. That's very unlikely, obviously, but it's still very scary. It's very scary.
That had been the Soviet government
just stay inside.
Turned into a Cthulhian-esque monster. People stopped caring about whatever was happening as long as something
potatoes
did happen.
Are those
there was
potatoes?
A major
no, those
crime
are apples.
wave, a rise of
no, those are
cartels,
potatoes.
And corruption just sort of became a way of life for the average Russian. The typical joke being that you didn't pay your taxes, you just bribed the taxman to go away. And into that mess steps Russia's entire nuclear arsenal. Now, Russia had kept a lot of nukes in its member states, countries like Bulgaria, Moldavia, Blabarashkalavovia, I don't know, Eastern European countries where everyone eats beets and the only colours are brown and that one colour of blue. These countries all now had to return the nukes that Russia had dumped in them. The dismantling is done with international supervision, but there's no real inspection process. The idea that any of these nukes were returned fully intact was simply taken at face value. In particular, was a certain item of interest. At the height of the Cold War, America began a program of miniaturized nuclear warheads that ended with the M388, or the Davy Crockett, a small personal nuclear bomb attached to a large recoilless rifle.
Wasn't this the inspiration for the Fat Man from Fallout, if I'm not mistaken? Because obviously, the Fat Man or the Merv, I think it's called from the franchise, they're not real. They could never work. But this is what was inspired of like, oh, a personal mini nuke launcher. Because it wasn't just completely fabricated, but I mean, completely made up for the franchise. This is what they got the inspiration from. And I would love to know how they had that in a meeting room where they just go, oh, let's make mini nukes, small ones for people to just use and just fire. I don't know. I don't care how many it is. Let's not use bombs that leave radiation. And then someone could be like, I gotta take out that target. Boom. No, mini nukes can also be more easily lost or accidentally detonated. Legalize nuclear bombs. I mean, that's what the founding fathers were born, right? Yeah, I guess the 50s did want nukes for everything. Didn't MacArthur? I may be getting the general's name from World War II, and then also to the Korean War. Didn't he want to nuke the North Koreans? But fortunately, people were like, no, that's stupid. We can't just use nukes for anything, for everything. Also, fun fact, wasn't there an idea to use nukes to build the Panama Canal or something similar to the Panama Canal? I think that's true. Hang on. Use nukes to make Panama Canal. It proposed using, Project Plowshare. Yep, including widening the Panama Canal. Yeah. They wanted to use nuclear explosives to widen the Panama Canal. Oh, yeah. And do other stuff like that. Yeah, that's a thing. Yep. So, yeah, people were crazy for nukes back then. Thank God we know better now, right? Yep, there it is. Okay, there it is. There it is. There's the Fat Man.
Yes, that actually existed. One of the programs involving the Davy Crockett was done without the launcher. Teams of paratroopers or special commandos, as soon as the alert was signaled, were to infiltrate enemy lines and plant a miniature nuclear warhead at various strategical sites. The commandos were given the special instruction that if compromised, they were to detonate the bomb immediately.
Oh my god.
Fun stuff. But did Russia have a similar program? Well, yes. Yes, they did. These would involve small nuclear warheads inside briefcases,
of course,
which KGB agents were to supposedly smuggle into the US. Over 250 of these devices supposedly exist. with 85 of them reported as missing.
How many alternate timelines, assuming the multiverse is real, how many alternate timelines was the world just destroyed, or just a nuclear hellscape after World War II? Because if you look up all of the different times that we nearly nuked ourselves, it's insane with how lucky we got. Because if I'm not mistaken, my favorite one that I know of is that I think I don't know if it was in the US or the Soviet Union, but in one of them, there was a guy who was staying late, and then the sensors went off. I think it was the Soviet Union. The sensors went off, and it said that the US had launched nukes at the Soviet Union, and he could have been like, all right, we got to retaliate. Time to launch back. But he looked at it and he was like, I think this is a glitch. Because if the US was actually sending nukes at us, there'd be a lot more. There's not enough. This is a glitch. So he didn't trust the computer. Yeah, he didn't trust the computer. Okay, so it was the Soviet Union? Yeah. He's like, this isn't right. If this was real, there'd be way more nukes being sent our way. So he didn't retaliate. Or they didn't retaliate because it didn't trust it. Like, I'm sure he didn't make the sole decision himself. I'm sure he would have had to report it, but still, that was terrifying. Yeah, and the Cuban Missile Crisis was really bad. There was the guy during the Cuban Missile Crisis that refused to let the people on the submarine use the nuclear payload that they had when they were being depth charged and everything. We got super close. It was horrifying. Thank God, that'll totally never happen.
The Russians denied that such devices existed up until 1997, where a defector not only confirmed that the suitcase bombs were real, but that a large number of them were supposedly missing, though he never gave an exact figure. This prompted a congressional hearing in which Russia finally admitted that the bombs existed, but claimed that all were present and accounted for.
Sure.
The so-called missing bombs were actually practice decoys used for training missions. And even so, each bomb carries a transponder, which would last for a few years on internal power and would send an alert to Russian High Command if it was running low, detailing its exact global position. But this is from Russia, who, as we all know, never lies about anything ever, especially back in the 90s under Yeltsin. In 1994, the US began Project Sapphire, which aimed to secure any remaining nuclear material left in former Soviet states, which might end up on the black market, though this seems to have only stretched.
Oh my god, that is terrifying.
Nuclear submarines. In spite of all these efforts, a considerable amount of nuclear material is still largely unaccounted for. Incidents leading to arrest of people caught trying to sell nuclear material on the black market total about 3 per year. And it's largely terrorist groups that are trying to buy them. But in spite of many claims, nuclear bombs, that is complete nuclear bombs, rarely come up on the black market.
Well, yeah.
Claims that nukes are easy to buy or regularly come up on the black market in Georgia are typically false. And officially, there has been no recognition of a stolen nuclear warhead. Yeah. And what little information says otherwise comes from dubious conspiracy websites.
The heck is this? The Rob Simone talk show. Okay, yeah. No, that's not real. But I do know that there was some nuclear material. I don't know the country, but I think it was, I'm gonna say Mexico, but I think it was somewhere in Central America, that there was some nuclear material left over in some abandoned building of some kind that they didn't fully clean up properly. And some not raiders, some scavengers went in there just to find stuff to sell, and they found metals and everything, and they broke things apart, and they opened up something holding some nuclear material. It was kind of like sparkly dust, I think it was described, and they were like, oh, this is cool. I'm gonna keep it, and I'm gonna give it to my daughter or kids because it looks like it's fun to play with. Yeah, Mexico was a dental office. Oh, okay, it was a dental office. Yeah, okay. And they were just like, well, we can't sell this, but it looks like it's fun to play with. I'll give it to my kids. And tons of people got radiation poisoning because obviously the doctors in Mexico weren't going to immediately assume, oh, these sicknesses are radiation poisoning. They'd be like, no, it's like a bug. It's a virus, so we should put them on antibiotics. It's probably this or that. The symptoms kind of overlap. And yeah, it was really bad. It was awful. Yeah, the little girl, she died horribly because radiation sickness is awful. It's awful. It was in a medical device. Okay, it was in a medical device, but it's still bad. It's still really bad.
Meet David Chase Taylor, who is currently seeking political asylum in Switzerland after getting caught up in the WikiLeaks debacle. Taylor released a free ebook shortly after the WikiLeaks went live, in which he proclaimed that in the month of February in 2011, terrorist group Al-Qaeda would launch a nuclear...
WikiLeaks can't be trusted, right? Like WikiLeaks, I can't remember. When WikiLeaks came out, I was very young. I was very, very young, and in my brain, I like mixed them together with what happened with like Snowden and everything too. So like, I don't even know what WikiLeaks is. No, they can? Like, wait, they can be trusted or can't be trusted? I can't remember. It's this came out at such a time in my life that I didn't even understand what they were. So I like, this is one of those things like I need to know, I should learn more about them, but it's like, ugh, you know. So, yep. WikiLeaks is controlled by a rat, according to South Park. I believe it.
Nuclear attack at a Super Bowl in Dallas, Texas. He did a large number of radio interviews and personally contacted numerous intelligence agencies to warn them, and then he fled to Switzerland seeking political asylum, now believing himself to be in danger. Taylor claims he is on the CIA's most wanted list, and only through his personal intervention was the 2011 terrorist attack foiled, as well was a similar one in 2017. Taylor is not on the CIA's most wanted list. He recently moved to Germany, now claiming to be the Messiah, and has published a new book in which he claims the Roman Empire still exists, and secretly controls everything. I mean, lack of jokes in this video. I mean, the comedy just kind of writes itself, you know? And yes, you better bet your ass I want a copy of this book. It sounds fantastic. I want to hear about the secret Illuminati Roman Empire. So is there anything to really worry about? Well,
what the heck are they doing? What is above them? Are those eyebrows? What is this? Is this like an optical illusion? If I squint really hard, do I see Jesus or something? This is weird. What is this? Ugh. Anyone else remember Operation Chrome Dome? What was Operation Chrome Dome? Like this. Look, I'm a white guy, but fucking some white people are weird.
Al-Qaeda and ISIS have tried for years to obtain nuclear warheads, and allegedly even attempted to buy some from Pakistan, but never really got anywhere. So why worry? If some of the largest and most powerful and most well-funded terrorist organizations in the world could not obtain a single nuke, what's the chances anyone else could?
Well, all I gotta do is go to the savannah.
September 1979, an American Vela satellite, which was built to detect nuclear bomb detonations, detected a double flash incident in the southern Indian Ocean, which was later positively identified as a nuclear explosion. Atmospheric testing confirmed the presence of nuclear fallout, but it has never been 100% confirmed that a nuclear bomb was detonated in the area, and so far no country has come forth to claim responsibility. The whole incident remains largely classified, but it remains one of the only non-recorded nuclear explosions.
What do you mean one
even
of?
If
wait, did he say one of?
Non-recorded nuclear explosion.
Did he say one of?
Largely classified, but it remains one of the only
What does he mean one of? There's more than one? Oh no.
Non-recorded nuclear explosions. But even if someone were to get their hands on nuclear material, it takes a lot to go from uranium to an actual functioning nuclear warhead. I mean, we're talking billions in enrichment, reactor design, testing, and all the infrastructure needed to go along with it. Someone couldn't just smack one together in their backyard, could they?
Yes, they could.
Why'd you?
What if I just hit the uranium really hard? Like I put my back into it. Do you think that would cause? I think that could cause a nuclear explosion, right? Just really hit it hard. I think it could do that.
Ask me these questions. In the 1960s, two students who had just finished their PhDs in physics were recruited by the Pentagon for something called the Ninth Nation Project. And no, that's not Ninth Nation Project, it is actually Ninth Nation Project. I don't make this shit up, okay? The project was funded to establish, if we're not some amateurs who had absolutely no expertise nor access to classified research or any details in the inner workings of a nuclear bomb, could build one. It took them 2 years. So as we emerge into a world of rising global tensions, where terrorists now control countries and more rogue nations than ever now have access to nuclear firearms, take solace in the words of Dr. Strangelove. Stop worrying and learn to love the bomb.
Love the bomb, Chip.
Have a fantastic spookoween, and remember to check your children's candy for nuclear ICBMs. 99.
I've said it before. I said it before, and I'm gonna say it again. They're not putting drugs in your Halloween candy, probably, because why would you spend a lot of money on, like, LSD or something like that, and then be like, oh, yeah, I'm just gonna give it away to kids. Nah, dude, those are my drugs. I'm using them, okay? Fuck them kids. Fuck them kids. Hell no. My parents never checked it. They never checked my candy. I just ate them. Also, I was one of those kids that's really picky, and if I see a candy that I don't recognize, I'm like, I don't know if I want this. So I probably wouldn't even eat it if I could. I wouldn't eat it if I could. So... all right, I think he sings at the end of these.
You fucking with this wet ass.
Yeah, I think he sings at the end of these, so I can't do that one because you know, he might copyright and everything like that. I think he stopped doing that for that reason too. So yeah, we can't listen to that because it'll be mad at me. But yeah, it was a good video. So YouTube, thank y'all for watching in the future and everything. If I upload this one, yeah, it was fun. Now I'm terrified. I'm totally not gonna sleep tonight. Thank you, LazerPig. Thank you, Hatsune LazerPig. Now I'm thinking about Brazilian Hatsune Miku and how Brazil banned Twitter. Well, all right. Well, I'll see y'all in the next video. Stay awesome, y'all.